Hey, welcome to my video. Here, I'm going to explain you the dependency inversion. Without further ado, let's go ahead and show you the main page. The project that I've built, the list a couple of posts from two main data sources, the JSON placeholder and the dummy JSON. Both have the posts resource right here, where you can get a bunch of posts, but they have their difference. One of them, JSON placeholder, brings me the posts directly, while dumb JSON have three metadatas: the total and skip and limit, and then they brings me the post data. It's a very silly difference, but you're going to understand the whole meaning of this difference. All right, let's go to VS Code and show you my code. Here, I'm using the Next.js framework. You don't need to know about it. Just follow my whole point here. And if you want to learn it, it's a great framework. Here in the source folder, I have three main folders. The app folder is where the next framework is going to use his tools to render the page. So don't worry about it. The only file that I'm going to need you to understand is the page file. Here, I'm declaring the main component of the homepage, responsible to handle all the dependencies, the list, and so on. Here in my, let's close the folder. Here in my domain folder, I have my entities. And as you can imagine, I have the post entity right here. Let's pretend that someone at my company told me that a post needs an ID, a title, and an auto ID. That's it. Very simple. But we have a problem here. I need to fetch this data somewhere. However, I don't want to depend on the neither JSON placeholder and or dummy JSON. I want that flexibility to switch between them. To make that happen, I need to use the dependency inversion. Here, I'm going to use this technique with the interface. The interface is just a guide that I'm going to use to make the external data very coupled to him. So here in define post service, I have this method execute, and I'm going to make all my dependencies to follow along this interface. So, and here in the fetch folder, I have the data sources using the fetch lib to bring me the posts. I've created a class which implements the find post service, the same interface that I showed to you. In this logic, I fetch the posts, and then I need to parse this data. using the method of .json. This method is going to bring me the data of the post from the JSON placeholder. I named it I named it this way to make it clear that I'm using the JSON placeholder and not the demo JSON, as you can see here in the name of the class. All right, so I'm passing the data right here, and then I'm mapping because due, due to the difference between the external data, which has the user ID, and my business model, which doesn't use the user ID. Instead, I use the auto ID to to indicate that I'm using the ID to the creator of the post. That's good. But how we are going to use this class? Is it going to walk into my page? Let's see it. I have I have this factor here, which is responsible to build my class. And as you can imagine, I'm getting the JSON placeholder API URL from the env variables. I have an env file right here where I'm defining the API's endpoints. And the data here is from JSON placeholder in this case here. But I'm also have the implementation using the dummy JSON. So I have this class which implements the find post service, and it follows the same idea. The main difference here is, as I said before, the data that the APIs respond to me has this difference here. I Let me show you on the main page. I need to get the posts from this attribute of the JSON. To do that, I'm just using data.post.map again. I'm mapping because they have the they have defined that the creator of the post is user ID, but I use auto ID. So I'm doing this adaptation. You see, I'm inverting the dependency. Okay. Now in the homepage code, I only have the service right here. And my view, or in which in this case I'm using React, he is fetching the posts from my implementation. Actually, my page only knows about the interface, and someone is going to implement this interface to bring me the post. My presentation code, as you can see right here, it's my presentation layer, which is responsible to show the data to my user. It's fetching and rendering the posts, as you can see right here. Like you see, he's doing this job here. And to make it happen, in my app folder. I have the page as I explained it in the beginning of this video, where I'm injecting the JSON placeholder service into this prop here. In the home page, I've defined that this guy here is going to receive a prop called find post service, where I defined it that it's defined it is as a interface. Well, so it works because the homepage knows the interface. This factory here is going to build an implementation of this interface, and everything is going to work as planned. All right, so let's run the project, and you're going to see the page rendering the posts data from JSON placeholder. But again, my page doesn't know that. Let's do the idea to switch between the JSON placeholder and the dummy JSON. To do that, it's very simple. I'm only going to replace this factory and use the dummy JSON find post service. Let's save it and let's see on the page. Look, I already did that. The page already fetched the data and render it to us. Well, you can see that the data before it was very different. The idea was different. The JSON placeholder used the Lorry Epson to generate the fake data. Here, he's just bring me a real data, real titles. All right, let's go back to JSON placeholder. Save it and see on the screen. All right, that sounds good. As you can feel, I I'm able to switch between the data sources without changing my main code. I'm not changing my presentation code or any other part of my code. I just needed to change one line of code to make it all happen. That's fantastic. If you are working a big project where to change a API or changing a database is very painful to do because you need to change many parts of the code. However, with this technique, you don't need to do that due to nature of dependency inversion. I don't rely no more to an external source, but only to an interface that I have the full control of it. So yeah, my friends, the sky is limit because you can use any data source. You can use a JSON database, a local database, and so on. Because everyone needs to follow the interface. All right. I think I explained it everything that I wanted. I hope I could help you somehow. And please leave a comment below. I would love to read your feedbacks. It's my first video, and if you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. All right? That's it. Thank you for your time. Bye.